Thank you so much. Okay. Holly, come on down.
I don't know, I didn't hear
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
My name is Holly Coop, and
Holly, right.
hello, my name is Holly Coop, and I'll be reading a short piece and time for a poem, maybe a poem. This is called The Smell of Rain. The sound of birds, a cooler summer morning, the makings of a perfect day. The birds and critters were seemingly more vocal than what my ears typically hear in the early morning. Their symphony certainly had a more dum-dum-dum feel to it. I thought of recording the stereosonic sounds of nature that surrounded me. I pondered, if I was ever in a state of being or situation where my great outdoors was not graspable to me, I could play my video recording of this morning's symphony and return to this place of silent yet sound-filled moments. No longer did the thought flutter across my mind than the droplets of heaven's cleansing began. Rain, a steady flow of it, explaining the frenzy of noise that was audible just moments before from the birds and critters residing outdoors.
108, 163.
As I sat on my cabin's front porch, my soul took in the smell of the early summer morning's rain. My ears took in the now muffled sounds of the birds and critters as they nestled into branches, shrubs, and grass to shelter from the wetness that fell from the heavens. As I observed, I relished in the beauty of my surroundings. I felt blessed and so grateful for my home, my family, friends, and all that encompasses my ordinary, spectacular life. And the rains fell, and the critters silently slumbered while waiting for the rains to subside, and the candle flickered as I sat on my porch, taking it all in. Ah, the smell of rain, the sound of birds, a cooler summer morning, the makings of a perfect day. Thank you. Okay, this is called Release Your Artist. Pain sews a thread of poetry. It's woven deep within the fabric of the hurt, pulling, ripping at every seam that binds you. You wonder where you might find relief. When will there be an end to the grief? The only way to expel it is through your art. Let it pour. Pour out of every scar that has formed around your soul. Release your artist. Let your rage spew an array of colors on the canvas. Let your ache paint a poetic picture of your broken heart on the pages from the scrapbook you've just torn apart. Let your inner voice sing its song of blues. Let the musician climb out of you. The greatest artists known wrapped their broken hearts within the fabric from the hurt their pain had sown. And all that is left are the remnants of the art that depicts the healing of a soul. Thank you. All right.
You want to come next, Maureen? Okay.
Good evening. My name is Maureen Blevins, and I am a writer. And I'm very happy to be here this evening, so thank you for inviting us. I've been a member of this group for about 8 or 9 years, and like several of the members, in addition to having worked in the anthologies, I have published a book. It's a children's book. So after the readings, please feel free to ask me about my book. The first piece I'm going to read for you is a humorous take on the notion of Mr. Perfect, because of course I'm still looking. It could also refer to Ms. Perfect, but either way, it is intended as humor, so I hope no one takes offense. Mr. Perfect, from head to toe, thinning hair, thick-headed, pie-eyed, hard-nosed, motor mouth, buck-tooth, all ears, rubberneck, barrel-chested, soft-hearted, tennis elbow, sour stomach, beer belly, butt ugly, thunder thighs, knock-kneed, shin splints, flat-footed, pigeon-toed, well-heeled. The second piece I'm going to read for you is a short story in this anthology. It's called The Window, and if you want to follow along, it's on page 175.
175.
The window display was a stunning depiction of the Nutcracker. All the characters were in place. The tree, the Nutcracker, Clara, the Mouse King and his army, Herr Dresselmeyer, the Sugar Plum Fairy, and of course the Prince. Samantha knew them all. Mama and Papa would bring her and Stephanie downtown every year to see the Christmas windows. The Nutcracker had been their favorite. The feeling of excitement returned along with the memories. She and Stephanie chattering away as their parents tried to pull them away from the window to move inside where it was warm and to get some shopping done. She hadn't thought of Stephanie in a while. She blinked the tears away and found herself looking at not the Nutcracker tableau, but an ordinary store window filled with a colorful display of shoes. She looked around. No one seemed to have noticed her tears. Everyone was busy in their own worlds, walking quickly on their way to somewhere. She moved on, wondering what had made her think of her sister, and was shaken at how real her daydream had been. She glanced back. There was no one at the window staring at either the shoes or the Nutcracker scene. She passed the store on her way to work every day. After getting off the train, she walked the few blocks to the bank where she worked. She had never stopped to look in before that morning. She felt chilled and put her hand up to pull her scarf tighter and realized she wasn't wearing one. It was July, too warm to be wearing a scarf. "You're late," her co-worker Melanie whispered as Samantha took her place behind the counter. She glanced at the clock. She was a good 30 minutes late. She took a deep breath. The following morning, Samantha paused at the window again. Shoes. She went to work. She glanced at the window every morning now as she passed. But it was always just a window full of shoes. No Nutcracker, no Christmas, no Stephanie. Until one day. A sideways glance at the store window as she passed, and there it was, the Nutcracker. She pressed up against the window. There was no mistaking it. She looked around. Everyone on their way to wherever. No other shoppers hugging the window for a closer look. Her reflection in the window showed her young self in a wool coat buttoned up tight, matching cap pulled over her ears to keep them from getting cold. She remembered that outfit. Tan wool coat, checkered scarf, hat to match. She and Stephanie were dressed identically, as always. Mama and Papa standing behind, arms locked, smiling. It seemed to her that this was the last Christmas Stephanie had been with them. They were 6. "No, no," Samantha screamed as her father tightly wrapped his arms around her and held her close. Mama was in a chair, sobbing quietly, holding a handkerchief to her face. There was someone else in the room, someone seated on the other side of a desk. A woman, not unkind, but detached, reserved, quiet, observing. "Excuse me, miss." A hand on her arm. She jumped. "I'm sorry to startle you. Are you okay?" Samantha blinked. An older man was standing next to her, a frown on his concerned face. She glanced at the window and he followed her gaze. "Shoes." I'm fine," she stammered. She turned abruptly and walked quickly away in the direction of the bank, wondering how late she would be this time.
Thank you, Maureen. Anybody else? Well, you wanna come on?
Sure.
Come on up.
Hello, my name is Helen. I'm going to read a poem. It's on page 117. More than one lifetime. Do cats come and sit on your lap when you are resting? Perhaps you were a tiger in a previous life. Do you have the urge to sleep all winter? Maybe you were a bear in a former life. Did you enjoy swimming and taking baths? Perhaps you were a fish in a prior life. Do you talk with dogs as you pass them on the street? Maybe you were a wolf in a former life. Do you love watching birds as they fly and soar and dive? Perhaps you had wings in a previous life. Are you worried you won't get it all done in this lifetime? Relax, you can come back and tie up any loose ends. If you don't get it right this time around, no worries. You'll be ready for the next lifetime.